Hey guys, Rob Davis here with One Blue Robot, just at the end of our Northern Utah tour we've been doing here, and I'm here with Mandy Guidry. I found out about something that Mandy is involved in about 3 or 4 days ago, and I had to make time. I pretty much begged her to let us come over at the end of a long week for both of us and get this on film and be a part of what she's involved in and the people she's involved with. So Mandy, thanks for having me.
Thanks for doing this. I'm super excited. I think that it's going to be fun to chat about this.
Okay, so let's get right into it.
All right.
So this project, and I want you to explain it in depth, has many parts, and we're going to talk about all the parts. Okay. So first thing, so that they have a real foundation, tell us how you became aware of the overall organization and kind of what it is. Give us the basics.
Okay. So about 3 years ago, I had gone to a convention, and at that convention was a woman that was giving the keynote speaking. That was the keynote speaker, and her name's Celeste Mergens. She is the founder of Days for Girls. Okay. And what Days for Girls is, well, a little bit of her story. She had been involved. Her story is very powerful. She'd been involved in helping with an orphanage in Kenya, and just thinking about all the problems there. She'd come home from Kenya and had just had a great experience. And one night she went to bed with one question on her mind about how are we going to feed these children? What do we need to do? How can I help? And woke up like at 3 in the morning with the question, what do these women do for feminine hygiene? And just like couldn't get it out of her mind. Went to the computer right then, directly contacted Kenya, and they said they have nothing. Like directly wrote back and said they have nothing.
Which is hard for us as modern Americans to even fathom.
I can't fathom it.
Right?
I don't think any of us have ever existed more than a day, you know.
And I've lived overseas, and that's not anything, you know, in South America, and I've never known that to be a problem. So it is kind of shocking. It's something we just don't think about. We take for granted.
Yeah, and I think in South America, I think it really is a problem too, often. But what happens is the women who you do see when they're menstruating have creative ways of using natural supplies, grass, leaves, newspaper, not natural, but those kind of things to be able to go out in the community. But a lot of those women just don't come out.
So during that time, they
stay home. In fact, recently in Nepal, a young girl, I think she was 16, she died in a hut. She was sitting in a menstruation hut on cardboard. And I think it was too hot. I can't remember the exact situation.
So in some of these areas, she discovered that there are things like menstruation huts. I mean, this is where you go stay during that time.
You're banned. You're dirty, you're banned, you don't know why you're having your period. Things like that. And man, that story to me was very powerful.
Because you're a nurse.
I'm a nurse.
And so you see all kinds of, you know, things dealing with healthcare.
Right.
And you have to treat a lot of things that are very first world for us, but this is something you would think would be first world and just common, and it's not.
Right. It's interesting because the first thing that she thought was, well, we've got to get them supplies from here. We've got to just supply them. So the first, you know, she brought, they made little bags for these girls so that they could carry their supplies, so they wouldn't miss school, so they wouldn't miss work, so they'd be able to just continue to function in this community, and gave them, you know, disposable supplies. And they came back a month later, and they had nowhere to dispose of them. They were in the fences. They were just, I mean, you don't even want to think about it. Like she says, it was worse than a junior high bathroom.
Well, yeah, because not only did they not have the resources, but if you didn't have the resources, you wouldn't have a way to dispose of them.
Exactly.
Right. So okay.
So through the years, they have evolved. They started sewing kits, and their kits have evolved so that really, like, I don't have sewing skills, but I can make these things. So they've made it really simple to create this kit. So.
Okay, so we're going to, and we'll take a look, we'll show you what the kits are, and there's a lot more to this that I got very excited about, if that's the right word. I don't mean to be make that seem awkward.
Well, no.
But I was very excited when I thought about, when I saw the approach that you all are talking about. It's not just like we talked about off camera, sending supplies.
Right.
This is a solution in many different levels, not just for that particular need.
Right.
Okay, so you have Days for Girls is this kind of big organization.
And one thing that they do is communities get together in the States and sew. They sew kits, they make kits, they create kits, and then you know, if missionaries are going overseas, if people are going on a trip to Africa or wherever they're going worldwide, they take a bunch of kits and then go and share and teach. So the things they teach about are reproduction, reproductive health, sexual assault, you know, like a whole, just anything covering that topic to help women be safe, to know why they have babies, how they have babies.
All aspects of feminine hygiene.
All aspects. So that's really cool to me.
Okay.
They cover all that.
So we have that organization. We have the work that she came up with in starting the organization. Now there's this another side to it, and that is Mama Africa.
So one thing that after they've created these kits, one thing that they recognized is, I think we can do more with this. We don't want to just throw them out there. We don't want to just give people fish. Like we want to help teach them, okay? So they have created what's called micro enterprises all over the world. So what's going on is people are being trained to run a business. These women that live in Africa, that live in Nepal, that live in South America, are being trained to sew the kits, market the kits, purchase the supplies, just do the whole thing, do it as a business. And so then they can actually sell the kits or sell what's called a pod, and I'll show you what these things are in a few minutes. But they can go and make a living. So not only can they go to work the whole month, they actually are working and spreading that forth.
So that was one of the things that really got me excited as an entrepreneur. And I thought to myself, when you were explaining that, you know, the first time when we were off camera, that's incredible. That's just genius in the sense that, okay, so number one, we're going to solve the solution or solve the problem of just the hygiene issue they face every month and the inability to even function. And so that's fixed, but it's not a one-time fix that we have to keep supplying. You're also going to take these women and help them understand how to make these kits, how to turn that into a micro business, and with that for profit, and then with that teach, train, and replicate that process with infinite numbers of women. Just keep it growing organically, and it not only solves a problem, it creates and it inspires as you go. It's
so exciting to me, and it's so fun. I've seen multiple videos of, you know, these women when they are learning, and they're just like, they come alive. It's so empowering to know how our body works, why it works that way, how we as women are creating something. Like when we have a baby, we are creating something. And you know, you were talking earlier like, oh, this is kind of awkward because I'm a dude. I'm like saying like this is exciting, but like it reaches all of us.
Yeah.
You know?